Alien Earth review. Episodes 1 and 2 have already dropped on Hulu, but is this series delivering or is it falling short? Let's talk about it. So, full transparency, I am an Aliens fan. That is the original 1979 Alien by Ridley Scott and the James Cameron sequel, Aliens. Most of the stuff that came after, I think, were either highly disappointing or fell short. With that being said, I have to bring up Alien Romulus. In my opinion, Alien Romulus started out good, and then it just overloaded on the fan service and stopped being its own unique thing. I do like the movie, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Alright, so back to Alien Earth. Is there fan service in Alien Earth? Of course there is. This is an Alien franchise, so fan service is expected to be in there. However, it was not overloaded. In fact, the fan service aspect of it is to be expected in the sense that Alien Earth is only 2 years before the original Alien film. So the aesthetic, the look, the feel, and the tone have to be congruent with the original 1979 Alien movie. That's one of the things I really enjoyed about it, was the aesthetic look. They got the fashion, and they definitely got the technology to match. Seeing that old computer font from the late 70s to early 80s, which always seemed to be in green. Seeing that was great. Seeing the cryo sleep pods that were from the original Alien film was great and to be expected, as I said before. However, what I did not expect was that the series also had Aliens vibe to it. And now, this is not spoilers because it's in the description or summary of the series, and it was in the trailers. So when the crash lands on Earth and our characters are going inside it, you can definitely tell that the aesthetic, that blue lighting and that blue hue, is from Aliens. Now, you probably won't pick that up unless you're a major fan of Aliens and have seen it countless of times, as well as the accompanying documentaries. But stuff like that, it's subtle. It's not completely in your face. There's no classic lines from the movies that are, currently repeated over and over. But it's subtleties like that that I really enjoyed. So another nice surprise is that this series pretty much jumps into the action right away. Since it is a TV series, I thought it would be dragged out a lot more and, it would be a slower burn, but not the case at all. Pretty much jumps into the action within the very first episode and continues the suspense from there all the way to episode number 2. So, very nice surprise and very happy about it. I'm also surprised at how gory this series has started out so far within just its 2 episodes. This Xenomorph in this series is a bad motherfucker. Holy shit. One aspect that I greatly appreciate being a sci-fi fan is the character of Wendy. Now, once again, this has been teased in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. Wendy is the first human whose consciousness has been transferred over to a synthetic. They're called hybrids in this series. And what I appreciate about that is that this is a classic sci-fi trope. It's the question of what it means to be human. Philip K. Dick, the famous sci-fi writer, has presented this question and theme in countless of his stories. The most popular that comes to mind is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the story that spawned the movie Blade Runner. Once again, another Ridley Scott film. Another one that comes to mind is my personal favorite, Imposter. And it had a movie based on the short story that starred Gary Sinise. And I appreciate that this question, especially in the face of evolving technology that continues to alter humanity and redefine it. So with that, it gives it a deeper well and deeper meaning than just, a monster chasing after humans and humans surviving. It presents that question that I enjoy from a lot of sci-fi classics. Another thing that sets this alien Earth apart from its predecessors is that, this is right on Earth. The ship crash landed in a pretty populous city. So that isolation aspect is gone. I would like to see how that unfolds as the series progresses. Back to Wendy and her crew. I would like to see how her character progresses and unfolds, and how her essence defines what it means to be human. There's another aspect that I greatly appreciate about this series so far, is that there's a family aspect to it. So that gives me something to root for and hope that, they uncover more about, the backstory to their family and how they end up in the series. So, those are my first initial thoughts of Alien Earth. So far, I think it is freaking awesome. It is a kick-ass entry into the Alien franchise that us fans absolutely have been waiting for and deserve. I suggest you go check it out and hope you enjoy it. All right. See you next time. Super excited to see what's coming up next for this series.